You like this one?
I like this one. Okay, I first met Steve. I was the manager at then Dean Witter, which became Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. And Stephen came in, and I think he was applying for a job. I wasn't sure because he could hardly understand me. And he told me about what happened. He'd gone to college here and married Maggie, went back to Hong Kong, and he and a partner had a seat on the Kowloon Stock Exchange. That was great until England announced that they were pulling out of their 99-year agreement they had in Hong Kong, and it was going to be turned over to China. And the stock exchange went right through the floor, took Stephen with him, and they decided to come back to the States and try and start over. So Stephen came in and talked to me, and for some reason I thought this guy had sincerity and appeal, and if nothing else, humor. And he wanted a job. He wanted to try. He wanted us to give him a chance. And so we went through the normal process, and I had him interview with a couple other guys, and we hired him. And about 3 weeks later, he was trying to get situated. He needed some additional training. But I got a call from San Francisco, said the New York Stock Exchange didn't want to hire him because he'd had that Kowloon experience with a bankruptcy type thing on his record. They didn't think he should be handling people's money. Stephen doesn't know this, but I had to tell him he had to leave his office. He was out for about a week or two, and it was a very difficult period. And I had to sign something that said I would pay careful attention to what he did and what he was doing, and they make an exception and let him get in the business. Well, that turned out to be great. Although he had some difficulties. Lee Grishon over there was in the office, and Lee just told me a story that's pretty amusing. He said that, do you remember when you put me together with Stephen and said, I'd been a former teacher, and Stephen had to learn to speak English, he was going to be successful, so it was going to be my job to teach him. A very difficult job. Anyway, Stephen's the kind of guy that I retired 25 years ago, and Stephen still calls me every year on my birthday and sings happy birthday in Chinese. He does that without fail. And there's just a couple anecdotes I want to tell you because I don't want to take up too much time. One that we always remember in the office is when we had a fellow named Russ Martinez, who's still with Morgan Stanley up in Folsom. I thought he'd be here tonight, but he isn't here. He was kind of a little bit chubby, and he came in one day and he had the gym bag in his hand. He came back from lunch, and Stephen came up to him and says, what's that bag for? He says, well, that's the gym. I go to the gym every day. He says, you go to the gym? Why, you're so fat. Everybody has a fond memory of that one. And unfortunately, the reason I wanted Russell to be here is because he's lost about 30 pounds since then. He's not fat anymore. But he didn't make it tonight. Lastly, I would say that Stephen has done one heck of a job overcoming the language thing. I do have one anecdote here from Northridge Country Club. I've been a member here for a long time. Stephen joined about 20 years ago, Steve.
2003.
2003. Well, Stephen joined, and I was playing with my regular group, and we were waiting off the side of the first tee. And Stephen came out with his golf cart, and he had this little umbrella attached to it. So he teed off about 50 feet. I was watching down there, and one of the guys said to me, "Who is that guy?" I said, "Don't ask me, I've never seen him before." Okay, who's next?